it didn't play out the way that I thought it would or the way that I hoped it would. And like I said, it's because God said no. And he really is putting me through a season of detachment right now because he was like, I said no to that. You want to go back to it? Go ahead and try. But I said no. And that's that. And I'm just like, okay, heard. Thank you. Lesson learned. And we're back. God just put the words in my mouth because I really need to share this with everyone because it's been a heck of a ride. So, I've been really exploring my connection with God lately. I've been praying more, reading more, and just learning more about Him and what's available to us when we connect to Him. And let me tell you, when God says no, it means no. And I had to learn this the hard way in the last few days. I have been going through it and I've been learning a lot. I just turned 27 late last year in October, and a lot has been setting in for me, from friendships, relationships to where I want to be in the world and just life in general. And I have been learning to hear his voice more in the last few weeks because of prayer and being able to train my mind to the point where I can quiet down my thoughts so that I can hear him clearly. And to the non-believers, I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but it is what it is, and my experience is teaching me that I can connect to God and that it's something that's real for me and that's alive. So um I've learned that when he says no, it really means no, because recently I went for an IV ketamine treatment, and it was interesting because while I did have a lot of insights while I was in it, I also came out really yearning to reconnect with someone from my past just because I felt that pull. I went and I texted them, I reached out, and it hasn't really turned out the way that I wanted it to. And that's because what I got out of this trip and this trip in general, it was not God induced. Like, God did not send me to do that. It's crazy saying this out loud, but admitting it, he didn't send me to do that. I didn't pray on it long enough. And I just went and I did it because I felt like my nervous system needed a reset, and which it did get that. I feel like my emotions are less like, "Ugh," and I feel like they're a little bit more steady on a flatter line. And that's good for me because I can't handle the really highs and the really lows anymore. It's just taking up too much time, too much of my energy throughout the day. And I can't even focus sometimes. So thankfully I was able to experience this and kind of, regulate my emotions and bring them to a more even plane. And this is all because of the trauma that I've had in my life. But coming back to the point, I I know now in hindsight that God didn't send me to go do that. But, coming out of it, I felt this intense feeling. I reached out, and it didn't play out the way that I thought it would or the way that I hoped it would. And like I said, it's because God said no. And he really is putting me through a season of detachment right now because he was like, I said no to that. You want to go back to it? Go ahead and try. But I said no. And that's that. And I'm just like, okay, heard. Thank you. Lesson learned. And yeah, I'm moving forward with that. But then today, as I'm like moving through life, realizing that a lot can be taken right from under you, like the rug can really be pulled and you could just be falling face flat if you don't have God. But today, I got the news that they're actually planning to sell this apartment. And I'm just like, no, I want to stay here because I don't own it clearly. But the way that God works is amazing. Because it's funny, the first thing that I asked the landlord was just like, how much? And he told me, and God works in mysterious ways. So I think there might be a way to stay and a way to keep the apartment, but I'm going to keep praying on that. my point is that I was even getting attached to this apartment, to just being here, to feeling good, calm, because it's my very own, not my first, but like my first apartment that I feel super comfortable in, with like a lot of natural light, and I feel comfortable. I'm right on the beach. I can walk there every morning. I love my neighborhood. I love that I have a wash and dryer, which is a luxury, believe it or not. I mean, I'm sure you believe it, but um I'm just super comfortable here. And I was getting super attached to my apartment, and I had the thought of moving because my lease is coming up. But I was just like, no, I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay. And I decided I'm going to stay. And then as soon as I decided I'm going to stay, God literally was just like, remember to not be attached to anything. You can't be attached to your apartment. You can't be attached to your relationships. You can't be attached to anything in the material world, right? Only be attached to me, and I will provide you with the peace that you need. Because let me tell you, when I received that call, my nerves went pew, right? Back to like being all the way up here. But thankfully, I was with the right person at the right time, because this person is also walking closer to God now. And she allowed me and helped me, get regulated and find a solution for the problem, and stay rooted in God. And to be quite honest, I was able to snap out of it quite quickly because of her and because of God, because I've been praying so much, and I've been just really allowing myself to be present in his presence. And his presence, wow, like I love going on walks now, because I just be talking to him all the time. I just be connecting and really allowing myself to just feel the love that comes with God. Because as we know, God is love. And I've been feeling it so much more lately because, like I said, spending time with him, reading, praying, and allowing myself to just be present and clear my mind enough to the point that I can actually connect with him. But yeah, when God says no, it really does mean no. So listen to his no. Stop fighting it, because, like I said, he could pull the rug right from under you, and you can fall face flat. But if you're with him and you're doing your walk with him, and you're allowing him to show up in all the little ways that you might not have noticed before, but he's always been there. So when you tap yourself into that more, and you really allow yourself to see where it's coming from and what it is, then you can feel more at ease with his decisions, because it's like, wow, you really do put the right things in my life when I need them. And it's okay if sometimes you want to teach me a lesson and rock my world a little bit, because you got me right back. And I got this lesson, right? Because when you think about it, but when I was thinking about it, whew, I this trip, this ketamine infused psychotherapy treatment, really reminded me that the consciousness that's inside this vessel can disconnect and detach at one point. So it brought up a lot of feelings. Like I really connected with God during that moment. I um, was able to just fully. I feel like my friend's here. Hey, sorry about that. She is here. She's in the living room waiting for me to finish. But yeah, I've really realized that I did induce this strip on my own, or with man-made, not God induced, but it really did teach me to hear his voice more and accept his no, accepting God's no. Whew. First, I had to learn to accept a man's no, and then it went to accepting God's no. And that's a big one, because when God says no, it really does mean no. And it also means that when he says yes, it is a yes. And you have to learn to clear your mind enough to hear that, because that's kind of what I've been realizing now, that the more that I spend time clearing my mind, meditating to be in his presence, not just meditating to clear my mind, but to also connect to a greater source, it's really allowed me to feel what feels right and what feels wrong. So just keep going. Keep connecting with him, keep allowing yourself to just be present in that. um, because it has really brought greater peace to me. Um, and yeah, had I gotten the news that I got today prior to him, I probably would have been distraught. And I'm so glad my friend was there to walk me through it and to talk to me about it, to be a soundboard, because it also works in an ecology frame, right? You need other people to actually be there for you and to support you through it. And what's interesting is that I did my daily reading right after that, and it was so cool because it kind of like reminded me, like, yeah, you do need people. And the part, I'm just gonna read it for you guys because we're here, right? So actually, I'm gonna read this part first because it really did touch me. So it says, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but Miami says, if you don't speak up now, we will somehow get help, but you and your family will be killed. It could be that you were made a queen for a time like this. Esther 4:14. But the part that really caught my eye and made me think about it was this part where it goes, the story of Esther teaches us that God has gifted each of us a specific purpose. Even though the journey isn't always easy, God promises to be with us as we follow the path He called us to. Additionally, Esther did not complete the purpose alone. She had the support of the community fasting and praying for her. Similarly, we cannot make it through life alone. We need the support of our community praying for us, and they need us in their lives as well. Honestly, as soon as I read this, I texted my girl who just pulled up and I was like, I love you. And she came through. So now we're going to go co work and talk about God and connect even more. And I love her so much. And I can't wait to do more stuff with her and just keep really accepting God's no, understanding when He's speaking to me and that I should actually listen to that and not just be like, okay, I know God's talking to me, but I'm still going to choose my choice because that's actually hasn't been going really well for me. So I'm learning and I'm growing in this walk, and I'm sharing this with you guys to kind of remind you that that's how it's gonna be. If you don't accept his no, he's gonna rock your world, and you're gonna be a little bit unsteady. So just keep praying, allow his no, accept his no, and his yes will come clear and loudly when it's ready for you. So, yeah, that's what came through to me today, and that'll be it. I'll see you guys next time.